Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Was that a good squat?
That's my squat.
Yeah, no.
100%.
Thanks.
10 out of 10. I'm attractive.
Hi everyone, my name is Sebastian Oriel.
And I'm Hattie Boydell.
And we are going to do a butt session. Well, she's going to do the butt session. I'm going to train with her and I'm just going to squat. And we're going to show you how Hattie uses her strength training to build some serious muscle with her favorite exercises. And what are your favorite exercises? For building booty, that is.
Building booty. Definitely low bar squat, heavy low bar squat, and hip thrust variations.
So we're going to do both of them together,
Doing
is that
both of them
right?
together, yes. And together they are delicious and awful at the same time.
So are we going to do high volume or high weight?
Both.
We're going to do both, which we don't usually see, but you're going to see it now.
Yeah, excited.
Let's do it. No, I'll tell you why. How many reps do you typically do on that?
10, depending on, it all depends on the day. So some days when I'm feeling a little slower, I'll do more warm-ups. And even before I get to the platform, I've done some banded squats just to warm my glutes up and really focus on that cue of spreading the floor and knees out. So there's quite a bit that happens before I even get to the platform, and then a lot before I get under the bar.
Something that's worth noticing is when she speaks about using bands to teach her with the cue of pushing her knees out and spreading the floor, she's not really using the bands to really build glutes. She's using it to warm up so she can do some really effective exercises that will definitely be building glutes. So it's an activation series that she did before. That's not to build massive glutes or massive muscles, it's just to teach her how to move properly, which is very important for building muscle, and that's what you're going to see now.
Definitely one of the best cues that I like to use with squatting, and it doesn't always resonate with everyone, but it definitely resonated with me, was spreading the floor. So I like to explain it to my girls by getting them to go to a part of the floor where there's a line, and they come into their squat position and they want to teach their feet to pretend that they're spreading the floor apart. So they're trying to actually make this line spread. And they're using that by digging the energy, I guess, from their glutes into the floor and driving those knees out. So in that position here, they're really using the cue of external rotation at the hip for the knees to come out. And I really felt that it helped me utilize my glutes more in a squat than anything else. And then for that, I do some squats with the band around my knees. So I'm really focusing on the cue of external rotation, driving the knees out, or spreading the floor. So that cue can either resonate, spread the floor on my feet.
Today I'm going up in 25 kilo increments, so whether I use reds or blues, I like to do one big plate and then half of that. And then another big plate, then half of that. So these are 25 kilograms. Half of that is 12 and a half. So that's what these are on the sides. So I'm gonna go red and then half. And next is gonna be 2 reds, then it'll be 2 and a half. Then 3 reds, 3 and a half, 4, up until I get to 5 reds, which is 270. And at that point, so that I can speak to the Americans, I'll put these little pieces of change on there. That's 1.25 kilograms, one on each side. If you can do 270, you can also do 272. Doesn't always work that way, but that's what I'm hoping for today. The reason I'm doing that is because 600 pounds in America.
There you go.
If you do 270 kilograms, it's not quite 600 pounds. The reason why I have to eat just before I train is because when I start, there's nothing really intense for about the first hour at least. So it doesn't bother me at all that I've got a belly full of food. Yeah, I need a belly full of food now to feel like I'm going to have the energy for the session, because when it starts working, that food has digested.
Yeah.
So when I start getting up to my work weight, the food's digested, and I need that energy. Okay. So after she did just bodyweight squats, she moved on to the empty bar, and then after the empty bar, she put 5 kilogram plates on each side. So the empty bar is 20. So she's done 20 kilograms, 30 kilograms, 40 kilograms, and her next weight is going to be what, Hattie?
50!
50 kilograms.
50.
And we'll be going up.
2 sets of the bar.
She did 2 sets with the bar. So lots and lots and lots of time spent warming up. So it's not just about strong girl so she can warm up with really, really heavy weights. She'll get there. And usually, even for Hattie, that'll take at least half an hour. Yeah.
Oh wait, an hour for my first top set?
For your first top set? Well,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll time it. We'll get the time of the first set and we'll put it to practice. But usually when we train, we don't really put our, like with a strength session, it's pretty hard to give yourself a time limit because they just take longer.
Yeah, I definitely, I've tried in the past to cut down my warm-up time, and I just don't perform as well. So now I've learnt that just to give myself, even up to 3 hours sometimes to do a squat session, and like the volume is low, but the intensity from the weights is high, and
the rest between
and the rest of the period, like I'm resting 4 to 5 minutes. For this kind of work. If I was to do conditioning work, my rest period is like, well, depends actually what I'm doing, but it might be 20 seconds to a minute. But if we're doing a heavy conditioning session, like in the past, we've done some awful workouts, and I've needed a 3-minute rest before I do the next round because I'm doing such heavy volume. In order to perform at that level, I need the recovery. And that was a really hard thing to learn over time, coming from someone who only wanted to rest for a minute to then having to rest for 4 minutes. But I learned very quickly that if I wanted to be as strong as possible, I needed to respect the recovery time to allow for that.
And then on the other side of the spectrum, I'll be resting probably about
10 minutes.
10 minutes with my knee wraps. That's because it takes a longer time to wrap my knees. But today I'm not wrapping my knees, so I'm sure between my top sets it's probably going to be 6 to 7 minutes, which is a long period of time. If I wrote that on paper to get a novice lifter to rest 6 to 7 minutes between sets, they'd probably throw that program in the bin, but that's how I do it. Low bar squat, sitting on her rear deltoids, hands as close as her shoulder mobility allows, pulling her shoulder blades back and down towards her back pockets to make sure all of these muscles are on and strong. That's
On
it.
and strong.
Very important to have everything, this is where the barbell sits, everything from here down is what's working. So if this is loose and her arms are wide and her shoulders are relaxed, her spine is weak. So we need to make torso rigidity, create torso rigidity out of squeezing her elbows back and shoulder blades down, so that's as hard as a rock. She'll take that jacket off soon and you'll see all the muscles rippling soon. Today I'm using the regular IPF bar. That's 20 kilograms, and the reason why is because that way I can have 5 reds and it'll still be 272 kilograms. It'll be 270 and then I add the little change on. If I use my normal squat bar that's 25 kilograms, it'll be 4 reds, a blue, and then ugly stuff. So we don't want to do that.
190.
I'll
How's it go?
Yeah, I'll tell you, in my experience with working with these two, let's give them a bit of an introduction. Not that they need one. Sonny Webster, Olympic level weightlifter. What weight division were you?
94.
94 kilo weight class in the 2016 Olympics. Aaron Kroll,
The animal.
the animal kid, is 105 kilogram lifter. So he's in a weight class above. So we can expect that he's got a higher level of absolute strength. But he's actually newer to the game than Sonny. Sonny's got more experience, and
I'm an old tiger now.
he's an old tiger at the age of
25.
years old. But I know he's been doing it for a longer time, and from a technical standpoint, from a non-weightlifter's perspective, something that I see about Sonny, he's very fast under the bar, which I just love watching. Not that Aaron isn't fast, but I will tell you, he's not as fast as Sonny. He's got a lot more absolute strength though. So
That's the thing, is carrying that over for him. If we can get him to put his strength in with a little bit more technique, he'll lift way more than me.
So from where I'm sitting, I'd say that this exercise, Aaron would benefit a lot more from it than you at this point. Yeah, Sonny's helping Aaron a lot with his technique.
And that's the thing, it's hard sometimes, especially when me and Aaron are training together, because if he's doing the same exercises as me, they're not going to benefit him as much. So sometimes we do have to, even though we're still going to train on the same bar, we're going to put different emphasis on this exercise. So I'm probably only going to do the drop snatch bands up to a certain weight and then do overhead squats to stretch out my sitting position, which I need more than he does, and he's going to work on strengthening his stability in the catch. Did you see those Air Force attacking this morning? They're like all white, and then there's
You have to do my job.
What are you stretching out here, Bez?
just got a few tender spots on my quads, and it just takes a bit of warming up. This doesn't really fix anything. It's kind of more of a band-aid. It just softens up the muscle so that when I thump it, which is what I'm trying to do out of the bottom when I do a pause squat, I pause at the bottom and then I try and hit it hard, and it's just makes it a little bit more comfortable for me. It's part of my warm-up procedure. Why don't we have a look at all the technique cues that Hattie's going to focus on from the start of the lift all the way to the end. Check it out. Hattie grabs the bar as close as her shoulder mobility allows. For her, that's a very close grip. For me, it's not so close. She places the barbell on the shelf created by her rear delts. So it's sitting on soft tissue, not on any bony landmarks. She pulls her elbows in and shoulder blades down towards her back pockets. Look at all of these muscles engaged. They are on to support her spine throughout the entire movement, because this is a squat, she's loading her spine. So she has to make sure that every part from underneath the bar is on and strong. Taking a big breath to unrack that weight. She's going to step it out. Hattie takes roughly 3 steps, looking straight ahead, initiates the movement by taking a big breath and spreading the floor, pushing the knees down in the same direction as her toes, opening her hips. It's 3 ways of saying the exact same thing. Big breath, controls the weight down to the bottom position, and controls the weight straight back up. That's 90 kilograms. Warm-ups are looking good so far. I'd say the next set is going to be 100.
Easy weight.
Yeah, should be easier this way. We've still got another 100 kilograms to go. 102 kilograms to go.
Perfection at its finest.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Was that a good squad?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
Thanks.
10 out of 10. I'm attractive.
Yay.
Garen.
Okay, so Hattie just did 100 kilograms. She went up in 10 kilogram jumps to get there. And now she's going to go up in 5 kilogram jumps to reach her top set. So as she gets closer and closer to the top set, she'll reduce the increment increase just to make it feel easier on her body. She probably could continue in 10 kilo jumps, but things start to slow down. And I find, not just with Hattie, but with most of the women that I've worked with strength training, they like to take a lot more time warming up. What are your thoughts on slow warm-ups, Hattie?
Definitely, I feel like females respond much better to slow warm-ups. It just takes a little bit longer for me to like neurally switch on. There are some days where I feel that I can do bigger jumps, and those days we do. But perfect techniques makes a perfect squat. So I'd rather just hit those numbers. This isn't demanding on me.
So it's not going to fatigue you to do the extra sets?
It's just like when you do glute activation work, it's not there to fatigue you, it's just there to activate, so that when you do your compound movement or your heavy set, the thing that's actually going to change your body, that you're ready and primed for it.
So 105 kilograms up next.
Yep.
Good luck.
Easy, Bez.
Thank you, thank you. Yep. Lovely, thank you. So, if you wanted to know what I was doing then, I just changed the rack position. So I was doing all of my warm-ups with, it's called racks in, so that I can put my hands on the outside of that. But as I'm getting warmer, my shoulders are getting warmer, and as we spoke about with the mobility cue for the upper body, hands go as close as shoulder mobility allows. So as I'm getting warmer, my mobility is allowing me to bring my hands in closer and closer. So now I get to the higher weight, I can squeeze my upper body a little bit tighter, which helps me a lot as I get to this higher weight. So racks out. So it's 245 kilograms. That's my last warm-up weight. Next one is going to be 5 reds, plus the little change, which is the 1.25 on each side. So that'll make it 272. The funny thing, it's like I've got to feel it on my back. Yeah. It's like when I sit down, it's got to be resting on my butt here. Yeah. I can feel it resting on my butt, and then I just... Yeah, I felt tight there. Yeah. So I've got to do that on the next set. Yeah. It's funny because I can lose the technique just that quickly, and then it's gone. I've hit 145 twice or 3 times now, and I've done 140 for about 5 times.
About 5 times, like 3 sets of 1 on 140. So I'm due for the 150, and now it's just like, this is why we're doing a lot of working up to singles, so improving the technique of hitting a heavy squat as a single, because it's very much a skill.
And I don't think it's a matter of whether you're able to hit it 150 kilograms or not. I just think that your competitions get in the way of my strength work. Well, I mean,
when are you gonna stop?
of course that's the priority, and that's why you're doing all of the strength work, so that you can look good on stage. And there has to come to a point where you're going to switch over to the stuff that actually matters for you. But I guarantee you, if all you did was pure strength work, why are we laughing? Did I say something wrong? And if all we did was pure strength work, 130 would be your average, all right? And 150 kilograms would have been done a long time ago. But that's okay, because it doesn't have to be everyone else's goal to have the same goals as mine. But we'll get there, I'm sure. Well, it's your goal now, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that proper?
It's a proper power clean, brother.
It's a proper power clean.
Start over the front, but now every inch matters.
Outside of the kneecap.
That's just outside of the kneecap. I press down in the center of the wrap, right where this gap is, just at the base of my patella. And there's my first wrap. There's my first revolution to anchor it. Then I go half the thickness of the wrap times 4. That is how thick your wrap needs to be. Doesn't need to be thicker than that. Then I'll do a cross over the patella. And then for this one, I'll tie that off. Yeah, so that's only 6 revolutions.
6. I can't believe you still got those, man.
These are the best.
Those are from
Yes, these are so comfortable. Yeah, these are like from Faisal. You remember Faisal? How funny. That guy was hectic. He did. Okay. Yep. Back down sets is kind of not really back down sets. I'm starting up on a new exercise, so I'm doing wrap squats now. No expectation. I've done my cool stuff today, and now it's just about redeveloping the skill of wrapped squats. I'm currently getting about 20 kilos out of these things, and I can get about 50 kilograms, but it takes practice, so that's what I'm doing. Hattie's very puffed out now, so we're not going to get her to talk. I'm sure she'll be happy with that. But what she just did was a set of 10 on 100 kilo squats, followed by a set of 10 on 170 kilogram glute bridges, hip thrusters. What's that? What do you call that? A hip thruster or a glute bridge?
Hip thruster.
Hip thruster, whatever it is. It's a barbell and it's heavy. And we've done 2 back-to-back sets, 10 on 100, 10 on 170. That's high weight, high volume, and that's our favorite way, especially Hattie's favorite way of building glutes.
Building muscle, really.
So that's 1 round.
2 more to go.
2 more to go. Guys, that was the end of the session. We just did a few top sets that are different to each other. I worked on pause squatting and Hattie worked on really heavy stuff, which was a lot more difficult than my session. My intensity was high, but my volume was low, whereas Hattie's intensity was high and her volume was high, which usually doesn't go together, but in this instance, it's her favorite way to train. How did that feel today, Hattie?
It felt great, but I was buggered by the end. It's been a while since we've done a session like that, which is definitely, it's actually my favorite way to train. So doing a heavy single, because I love the skill of doing a heavy single, it's super empowering. And then I'm also a volume machine, so I love doing heavy volume. I do have a goal, and I'm going to say it right here, so it has to be done, of doing 120 kilos for 10 reps into ideally a heavy hip thrust. Got to get the 120 first for 10.
I was more looking forward to your 1 rep max goal. I thought you'd want to reveal that to our audience.
I do also have a 1 rep max goal, so I'm setting the bar really freaking high. 150 before the end of the year, so where are we at now? September?
I think that can all be done at the same session if we structure it like we did today. 150 kilo top set followed by 120 for 10s.
Yeah.
But today, just to recap, Hattie did 130 kilogram top set, followed by set of 10 squats, superset into glute bridges with 170 kilograms for 10 reps. She did 3 rounds of that, which is just huge, especially for a little chick who's just trying to get in shape so she can stand up on stage for a WBFF fitness model show.
To be the world champion again.
So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, see you guys soon.